Alright, this is my third video on the channel. Okay, now what you might be doing is making a judgment right now, looking at where I'm sat in my living room. Only 3 videos in, you might be now ready to flick to the next video because you think, oh, this guy's a nobody, doesn't really know what he's talking about. But before you do that, stop. Okay, I want you to watch to the end of the video before you make a judgment. Alright, now the reason I know that is because I am a martial artist, high-level martial artist. Fought at a really high level in judo. I'm not going to go into that too much because I went into that on a previous video. But the reason I'm telling you is because over the years of doing martial arts, judo, mixed martial arts, which I teach also, I've seen people at the highest level, some of the best fighters on the planet, and I've also seen some of the absolute lowest. And I've seen during my time some of the people who are the best are sometimes people who stay quite below the radar. They're people who train in an old kind of rundown venue, almost around the back somewhere, and people barely know that they're there, but they're high, top-notch quality. And they're not big at putting themselves out there. And then you get another person who's very kind of in your face, able to kind of put themselves across and talk the talk, shall we say. All right, and they're the people quite often, they quite often charge a lot of money. They have a lot of members. They have a big venue quite often, a smart kind of high-tech looking kind of place. Which is all great, and then generally what you find is the quality is not as good, and you'd only know that if you know what you're looking at and what you're looking for. You might quite often in some of these sessions you'll get a dad who's been doing it for a short amount of time, 2-3 years, with their black belt, and they're teaching people who are being charged quite a lot of money. So in my experience, sometimes the people who come across as the people who know the most don't always know the most. Okay, and the ones who maybe know a lot don't always look as though that, you know, they come from the best place. All right, so so my whole point of this is to tell you to kind of maybe take me seriously and listen to what I've got to say. Another analogy that you might kind of be able to relate to is if you've ever walked past maybe like a busker or a street performer, and they might be playing a guitar or a keyboard or something, and you might walk past and think, wow, they are amazing, and you carry on walking past and you don't know their name, you don't know how long they've been playing, and you don't know anything about them, but for probably about 10 seconds you think to yourself, wow, they could be famous, but you don't know who they are, and probably chances are that they'll never be famous. They'll just continue doing what they're doing. You may well have walked past somebody who did become famous and probably even just walked past and not even given them a second glance, and now they're on telly and they're big and they're popular. You now think, oh wow, this is whoever on the telly, we'll watch that, whereas you just walked past another time. Maybe not, but I'm just using that as an example. Okay, so what I'm trying to say to you is to always, whether you think that they're good or not, or whether you have a good impression of someone first of all, always try and listen to everything they've got to say. Because I remember I was teaching judo at my judo club a number of years ago now, 10 years ago actually, because I was 32, I'm 42 now, and I had a visitor from Canada, and he didn't ask to come, he just literally turned up and said, oh, is it all right to come and train? He had an accent, and I said, where are you from? He said, I'm from Canada. He said, I'm just on holiday. And he was a black belt, but I could tell by the way he was warming up and by the type of throwing that he was doing, he wasn't anything special. He was just a normal guy, maybe done a little bit of coaching or whatever. And I said, to be polite, I said, would you like to teach a technique to my members? And he said, yeah, I'll do that. And I wasn't really expecting too much. I kind of thought it'd be something that I've maybe seen a million times. And it was, to an extent. It was the hold down that I'd actually been taught first, which is a scarfold. And if you've done martial arts, you might know what a scarfold is. Really quite simple. I actually learned it when I was about 2 years old because my brother had already started judo and he was actually coming home and practicing it on me. So I actually knew it from a really, really young age. And this was not actually the hold down. This was an escape from the hold down. And he showed this hold down. I thought, I've literally never seen that before. And I was really surprised. And I gave it a go. And I was like, wow, that is so good and so clever. And I tried it again just to make sure it weren't a fluke. And again, it was just really effective and really good. And from that day onwards, bearing in mind I fought at some of the highest levels in judo, from that day onwards, that's my go-to escape for that move. And it always works. Okay, and I didn't know this guy. I didn't know his name. I've never seen him since, never heard of him. And you know, maybe it was just the one thing that he had to offer, but it's a thing that's really helped me out a lot since 10 years ago, and I still use it to this day. So don't be too quick to dismiss somebody because they don't look popular, or they don't look like they know what they're doing. Sometimes it can be that person who is actually the person to listen to. Okay, so that's my advice for this particular video. So listen when I tell you what to do.